UFC 310. The card where Bilal Muhammad is injured. The card where Kaya Sakura is getting a title shot in his first fight in the UFC. My name is Remy from The Script, and I will be presenting you guys the breakdown for the main card. I chose to do the main card because I just feel like prelims and early prelims are very subject to change since we are doing this pretty early. We're doing this about a week and a half in advance. So these will be my early picks. And I will do a full breakdown coming next week. I just, I want to make sure the card's pretty much set in stone before I break down any fights. Starting with Nate Landwehr versus Do Hao Choi. And I'm just going to make this one really simple and easy. I'm going with Nate. Choi had 5 fights. In his past 5 fights, that 5th fight was in 2016. Is this guy a fighter? And it's like, what is this, like a part-time job? What Choi am I going to see on fight night? What Choi are we going to get? I'm not even sure what Choi we're going to get. So for that, I'm going Nate. And to me, it just seems pretty obvious, And, I mean, Nate is also a solid pick. He doesn't really lose to terrible people. He actually loses to pretty decent competition. He lost to Herbert Burns. He lost to Dan Ige. And he's pretty decent. He only has 5 losses. And his losses look pretty solid in the UFC. I just don't know what version of Choi I'm getting. Although he is coming off a win, I just don't know. I'm not confident in picking Choi if I were to. And Nate, we literally just seen him in his other fight almost getting knocked out and fight and get back up and win in the later rounds. He's a dog. I feel comfortable going him. I really don't know what kind of Choi we're gonna get. It's super random. Now we have Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie. You see the odds. Bryce Mitchell should win this. He should win this. My pick will be Bryce Mitchell. Kron Gracie, the problem with Kron Gracie, he has 5 wins, right? But they're all by submission. He's not really like a well-rounded person. He's more of a submission or bust type of guy. And I don't know how confident I am in him. He is on a losing streak as well. Doesn't really have good takedown accuracy. I believe if Bryce Mitchell is able to mix it up on the feet, he'll be able to score good takedowns because he also has really good BJJ. I'm more confident in Bryce Mitchell to get this one done, and hopefully he does get this one done. He'll probably be able to mix in the takedowns, get Kron Gracie. He just has to avoid any subs Kron Gracie might try to put off his back. But very confident in Bryce Mitchell. He should get this one done. And yeah, I mean, he's a minus 520 favorite. I honestly see him going to maybe a minus 560 by the end of the week. But moving on up the card, yeah, Kron Gracie, man. No disrespect, but not looking good for you, bud. Ciryl versus Alexander Volkov. Ciryl, another part-time UFC fighter. I heard he's an actor now. I heard Ciryl an actor. Don't get me wrong, Ciryl is nasty, though. He only has 2 losses. One from Francis Ngannou and John Jones. Just to give you an idea of how nice he is. He's only losing to those type of people. He is versing Alexander Volkov. Alexander Volkov has been a top 10 heavyweight for a minute. He's on a little win streak right now. He's on 4 wins. And I'm just going to make this very quick, easy, and simple. I'm going Ciryl. Reason being is just Ciryl. Alexander Volkov is not a guy who's going to shoot takedowns. He did get a submission win recently. But if you want to stand with Ciryl, you have a problem. But that being said, Ciryl is, I believe, like acting on the side now. I mean, See, he probably get this one done, but I just don't know if I'm able to trust Cyril Gane to get it done. This fight was supposed to happen in 308, I believe, this matchup, and it got pushed back to 310. And to me, I don't know. I mean, Cyril Gane was a minus 400 favorite. Don't get me wrong, he'll probably get this one done, but if Alexander Volkov was like a plus 300, maybe 330, I wouldn't mind sprinkling some extra cheese on Volkov to get this one done. But I wouldn't count them out. Alexander Volkov isn't a bum. He's pretty solid. The only problem is if he wants to stand with Cyril Gane, he'll probably lose, especially since he's 6'7" and he only has an 80-inch reach. He only has 80 inches of reach. Like, how does Cyril Gane have longer arms than you, and you're the taller fighter? Yeah, I don't really see him being able to beat Cyril Gane on the feet, and he doesn't really shoot takedowns like that. So I just wouldn't count them out, though. I wouldn't count them out. Pretty solid underdog for this fight. The pick will be Cyril Gane, though. Moving on up, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado Gary. What people don't realize is Ian Gary has a chance in this fight. And I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. The fact that these odds aren't right on the bottom, but Shavkat's, I believe, like a minus 300 favorite, minus 350. Ian Gary's like a plus 230 favorite. I don't know about that. I don't think Ian Gary should be close to a plus 300 favorite. Maybe the odds widen because this is a week out. We don't know what the odds are gonna look like 2 weeks from now, when the card comes, when the card happens. If Ian Gary's a plus 300 to plus 400 favorite, I'm sprinkling a little bit of cheese. That being said, I will have Shavkat to get this one done. Reason being, Shavkat's an animal. He really is an animal. The Asian Russian. He's a dog. He really is a dog. I just feel like on the feet, Gary will have an advantage. Although he doesn't have the reach advantage, I just think his striking is more technical than Shavkat's. But when it touches the ground, I think Shavkat has a clear advantage. I just feel like Shavkat's submission game, his grappling game, is elite. And he might be able to catch Gary. But I think Ian Gary's fight IQ is higher, and he'll probably try to negate that. But yeah, this is going to be an amazing fight. Two undefeated fighters going at it. This is going to be a sick fight. I feel like sometimes, though, Shavkat is a little overrated I just feel like he's a little overrated in the welterweight division. Who has he fought? I feel like MVP Michael Venom Page versus Ian Gary was more comp than Shavkat's ever fought. Like, Shavkat hasn't fought nobody like a Michael Venom Page. Would I pick Shavkat to beat MVP? Yeah. But he hasn't fought anybody like MVP. MVP's nasty. And Ian Gary's just coming off that win. I don't really know, man. Shavkat has fought. He submitted Wonderboy, beat Jeff Neal, but who has he really faced? Where it's like, oh shit, this is his real first, I would say, big step up in competition. And Ian Gary might be able to fraud check Shavkat. A lot of people are counting out Ian Gary. Like I said, my pick is Shavkat, because I believe once, just in the later rounds, he might just be able to really bite down on that mouthpiece and just start letting him fly and maybe catch Ian Gary in the later rounds. But this will be a very tough fight and a very, very good fight to watch. Now, the problem with this is if Shavkat beats Ian Gary easily or clearly, the glaze for Shavkat's going to be insane for his match with Bilal when it does happen. And I do have Bilal in that fight. People don't understand. Bilal is nasty. Like, I know he's a cringe king. He's a cringe king. But Bilal is nasty. And the fact that he was like he opened up at a plus 200 underdog against Shavkat, opening at those odds. You guys are crazy, man. You guys are crazy. Look at Bilal's resume. And he's like he hasn't lost in like 5 years in the UFC. Listen, and he has Khabib in his corner. He's nasty. But that being said, this will be a fun fight. 2 undefeated fighters. When have we ever got this? We have got this, but it's been a minute. And of this caliber in the same division, it's gonna be a fun fight. I have Shavkat by finish, later rounds, either by a KO or submission. Moving on up the card, now we have Kaya Sakura versus I worked so hard for this Pantoja. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Kaya Sakura got DQ'd in this fight. He's coming from a MMA division. I believe they're the people that bought out Pride. And in their division, in their company or whatever, they're allowed to do knees to grounded opponents. Everything is legal pretty much. And I just feel like, with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if I seen Kaya Sakura get DQ'd from something like that. I mean, it's his first fight in the UFC, making his debut against the champ. And Pantoja's a dog. He's never been finished. And we've seen him for some of the top flyweights. And you've seen what he did. Brandon Royval versus, I'm forgetting the name, but it's the Japanese prospect who's undefeated. A lot of people had Brian Royval as like a plus 230 underdog. It was plus 30 underdog on the sports books. Pantoja beat that guy twice. Pantoja's nasty. He might be boring, cool, but he's that guy. He might get decision wins. You might fall asleep watching him, but he's gonna get the job done. With that being said, Pantoja is a 2-1 favorite. He's minus 250, 230. I expect the odds to widen up a bit. Kaya Sakura, everybody's gonna talk about. I already know what they're gonna talk about. Oh, the guy's jaw he broke, and apparently punched the guy and broke his fucking jaw. But let's relax. You're gonna hear that probably a whole bunch coming up to this fight. He punched the guy's jaw and he broke his jaw, and oh my god, he's such a monster. He's a guy's fucking nasty. Listen, Pantoja doesn't have the striking to keep up with Kaya Sakura. I don't think anybody's saying that. But Pantoja will be able to get the takedowns continuously, maybe stall on the ground. And he'll also probably be able to maybe even submit Sakura. Probably not, but he will be able to get the takedowns. And I see Pantoja probably winning a boring sub or decision. And I just don't see Sakura being able to stuff his takedowns. But that's my predictions for the main card for UFC 310. Will be an interesting card nonetheless. The last UFC 300 card to end the year off. The year was pretty good. It was decent in terms of 300 cards. It's pretty decent. My name is Remy from The Script. I gave you guys the script. Subscribe to the newsletter. Help support the channel. You guys get all these picks early. All access to our bets. You get the safety parlay. You get the premium bets. Become a premium member. Subscribe to our newsletter. And I'm out.